On Thursday, Insider posted a story alleging charges of sexual misconduct against Tesla founder Elon Musk. The allegations stemming from an incident in 2016 included exposing himself to a female flight attendant during a massage on his private jet. And, by the way, offering to buy her a horse in exchange for sexual favors. It's not exactly a gift horse.
I'm trying to figure out the thinking. Like, okay, I just did this. This is, very clearly over the line. Maybe to make things better, I can buy her a horse. I feel like there's other things that would come to your mind first that you would want to purchase someone. And he did buy her silence. She signed an NDA, if I'm not mistaken. So the horse situation, and it's so believable. That's an Elon thing to do, like just random thing.
It really is. But more details here. Now, after she had reported the incident to SpaceX, Musk's company paid her that $250,000 as part of a severance agreement, or, again, as you mentioned, pretty much hush money. She claims that she was then retaliated against after she had rebuffed those advances. Now, this comes a day after Musk tweeted out his intention to become a Republican. Big shocker there, claiming Democrats are no longer the party of kindness, and claiming that political attacks on me will escalate dramatically in the coming months. Now, again, we know that Musk was contacted prior to that story being published in Insider. So apparently it seems to me kind of like a hindsight thing. Those tweets appear to be a way of him getting ahead of the scandal, which he has called Elongate. One of those tweets, by the way, included, "The attacks against me should be viewed through a political lens. This is their standard despicable playbook, but nothing will deter me from fighting for a good future and your right to free speech." Mike, give us your thoughts.
Yeah. So I have to comment on his tweet from maybe Monday or Tuesday, where he said that the political attacks on me are going to increase or be really common or something. So that was probably after Insider had contacted him, knowing. So listen, if you're a billionaire, it's not surprising that you're going to side with Republicans. David Dole made a great point on Twitter. He was saying that this is the Democratic Party's opportunity to say, yes, the richest man in the world doesn't support us. He's with Republicans. They're not going to take him, up on that. But, it's somebody else made a really great point. I wish I could give them credit, but they said that, Elon Musk strategically is aligning with Republicans because this is the party that forgave Trump for everything, grab him by the P word, all of the assaults. So if you really want to be at least politically influential and you have now this alleged allegation, then you have no choice. You have to align with Republicans. So your economic views also align. It kind of makes sense. Like his shifting here, it's all I think obvious. This is what he's doing. If they forgave Trump for all of that, they're going to forgive Elon.
Yeah, and I think it was Ryan Grimm that also tweeted something about this, and I may have gotten that wrong as well. But he's like, "What did you do?" Just a couple of days, before this had dropped, and when he had talked about going to become a Republican, what did you do on Twitter? And I thought that was pretty funny because, for all of the different points that you just pointed out, yes, the Republicans are the party of, we're going to let you get away. And this is ironic because they call themselves the party of morality. We're going to let you get away with all these different sex scandals. As long as you're a billionaire, as long as you're incredibly wealthy and on our side, you can get away with anything. However, if you're Madison Cawthorn and you call out Congress's cocaine sex parties, they will destroy you. And I think that's pretty interesting because here he says, and look, I believe him. I don't know if you believe him.
I do.
Yeah. Just the way that they went after him so incredibly viciously. And by the way, I really wish that establishment Democrats would go after people like Henry Cuellar, for example, or people who tank Biden's agenda half as vicious as Republicans go after them, leaking or whatever about their secret cocaine sex parties.
Right.
But unfortunately, we don't live in that world. We live in the world where Democrats will protect billionaires and, of course, and anti-choice corporate Democrats as well. And Republicans will just straight up defend and side with sex offenders or even alleged sex offenders. I mean, remember Roy Moore, Dennis Hastert. Dennis Hastert's a literal pedophile. And so, I mean, you have so many different instances of Republicans basically turning their back on people that have engaged in scandalous, acts or whatever, and look at gay scandals as well. By the way, and again, that's kind of like Madison Cawthorn. Again, we don't care if you're gay on the left. We accept, we think gay is being, based. It's awesome. Like, go ahead and be gay, do your thing. It's great. We accept you. And we want you on our side.
Not with your cousin,
not on the Republicans, though. Not on the Republicans.
Yeah. You're exactly right. Not being gay with your cousin, though, because allegedly that's Madison Cawthorn, the video was with. I don't know if this was confirmed. It could just be a rumor. It's very bizarre. But yeah, I mean, for Republicans, they don't necessarily care about anything that Elon Musk does. He could be an alleged murderer. As long as he's owning the libs, everything is okay. They don't care about anything else. I mean, look at all of the terrible people. Like you named some of them. Jim Jordan. I mean, he covered up sex abuse. I mean, all of these people, they have skeletons in their closet. And they themselves, like, even though they purport to be the moral party, as you were saying, everyone knows that's all a facade. And it's a thinly veiled one because they don't even live to their own principles. So, they don't care about Elon Musk's, allegations. As long as he's going to keep owning the libs, trying to break up unions, they're okay with it.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And look, I'm going to get to some of the other stuff that had happened at Musk's company or companies. And but before I get to that, it is interesting how, Republicans have also been trying to crush the electric vehicle industry. I mean, they have passed numerous laws to try to take away tax breaks for people who buy electric vehicles, actually tax people more for buying electric vehicles. And so everything that the Republicans have done is actually against Elon Musk's business model. So he's not even a competent businessman when you look at that, and much less a genius or a super genius or whatever. He's an idiot with a really, really big ego. So
and I feel like he is like all billionaires. Like some of them may not be as outspoken. But deep down, they all have this God complex. That's at least my thinking. But I feel like they've all kind of revealed that, at least the ones that we've heard from. Yeah,
absolutely. It's the whole job creator mentality.
Yep. You owe me something.
Exactly. And by the way, Tesla has taken lots and lots of subsidies from the federal government. So this whole idea that Elon Musk is a self-made man is just playing into that myth.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me get into some more of the sexual harassment allegations against his companies and workers at his companies. 4 women who had worked at SpaceX spoke out about sexual harassment. They said they faced at the company, where Musk is the CEO. One, Ashley Kosak, published an essay recounting being groped and touched inappropriately by male employees while she was an intern. 3 others, one of whom said she was bound by an NDA, recounted similar treatment to the New York Times. So, look, this is a pattern. You also had 6 women suing Tesla, where Musk, again, CEO, alleging sexual harassment at a factory. Men at the factory would ogle them and remark on their clothes, the complaint said, leading some women to wear baggy outfits and use stacks of boxes to obstruct the views of leering coworkers. Some of the women claimed they were retaliated against when they came forward. And so there is this pretty sordid history, and I don't know who said it, but it's something that I think Cenk says all the time: the fish rots from the head down. He, of course, would refer to Donald Trump and the administration, but I think this is an apt application of that saying as well, because, I mean, what do CEOs do? They kind of set the company culture,
Yep.
And so, obviously, Musk seems to be, not a great guy. Let's just say that. Terrible to women. And that is reflected in the people that are hired in his companies, as well as the how women are treated at those companies. And by the way, one more thing too, let me add that an essay by Musk's first wife, actually, that was written back in 2010 has resurfaced. Justine Musk, born Jennifer Justine Wilson, was married to Musk from 2000 to 2008 and penned a lengthy and candid article about her marriage back in 2010, her marriage and divorce. So again, this was a long time ago. Nobody really paid too much attention to it, but that now it's actually gained some relevance here because it was titled "I Was a Starter Wife," and Justine had said that during her relationship, she became a trophy wife, and said that he treated her like an employee that he would consistently threaten to fire.
Wow.
One quote stood out, saying, "As we danced at our wedding reception, Elon told me, quote, 'I am the alpha in this relationship.'" So
megalomaniac.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and didn't he say, like, his defense initially was that, how is it that, and this is a horrible defense, by the way, but he said that, well, there's been no other allegations in all of my years at Tesla, and then the allegation with his wife is incredibly, incredibly serious. And today on Twitter, I'm not sure if you saw it yet, but he tweeted that these allegations are completely false, and he said, if this person wants to prove it, she can describe the way that my penis looks. And I'm
did
sorry,
see that.
like, to quote Dave Chappelle, of all people, terrible human being, but I think that he said it best, that, like, me and my penis are like this, but I couldn't pick my penis out of a lineup. I couldn't describe what mine looks like. They all look the same. So how is that a win? Like, it's not the own that you think it is. And I love how people responded saying, okay, so did you not make her sign an NDA? Because why make her sign the NDA if you're innocent? Why give her money? I mean, somebody was given $250,000. So it's not adding up. And it all doesn't look good for Elon. And now with his wife, I haven't heard about this. I mean, it affirms what we've seen. And you made a great point, Jeff, about how, like, this is the culture that he curates there. He's like this edgelord shit poster online.
Right.
And this is, reflected in the company. There was also racism lawsuits where, one of their employees successfully sued and won, and the company has to pay millions of dollars because of overt racism. We're not talking about subtle racism and discrimination. We're talking about overt, explicit racism. So, I mean, everything that Elon has done makes this seem very plausible. I mean, his public persona, if his public persona is this bad, imagine what his private persona is.
Exactly. And by the way, one of the quotes from, I believe, the story in the racism is the supervisors would tell their African-American employees, "Welcome to the slave house."
Yeah. I mean, who says things like this? So to say something like that,
right?
The culture has got to be a nightmare to work.
Toxic.
There, especially
absolutely
if you're a woman.
toxic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I look. We've all had experiences with people who are insensitive and racist, when I worked at Blockbuster, right, people would bring up movies and they'd be like, "Oh, there's not enough white people." Like, they would literally say this to me. Like, we've all encountered this in real life, but to have it just, like, be in your face where it's like, "Welcome to the slave center." Like, who says that? Like, it has to be so toxic.
Well, I know who says stuff like that. Racist.
Exactly. Simply put.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to Tucker Carlson.